The information, opinions, and recommendations presented in this podcast are for general information only. Any reliance on the information provided in this podcast is done at your own risk.
Hey everybody, this is Miley.
And this is Porvi.
And you're listening to That's What We Said, a podcast where we offer our insight on a variety of topics that touch our lives and probably yours on a daily basis. Hello, Porvi.
Hello, Miley.
Are you ready for the topic of this week?
I am.
The topic this week is respect. So how to give it, how to earn it, just everything about respect. So let's start with a story about respect.
Okay. I had a friend. I was talking to a friend of mine this past weekend. We're talking about, she's married. And
For how long?
maybe like 6 years?
Okay.
5, 6 years? Yeah.
6 years married.
And we're just talking about like respect and how guys treat a woman and just, general stuff like that. And like in relationships, does it change as you get more comfortable on how to stop it from changing, the respect cycle after being comfortable in a relationship and things like that. So we're just chatting about it. And she's like, yeah, a lot of times my husband thinks that, he's smarter than me and he'll kind of treat me that way. And I was like, yeah, I've experienced similar things like that too. And I'm like, how do you get a guy to not always assume that they're smarter than you or better than you and then have them not respect you in that manner?
Question though. I know this might be a rude question, but is it true?
That they're smarter than me? No.
No, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking
Be
about
clear.
it. It feels like a rude question. Is her husband smarter than?
Oh, no. I don't think so. I don't think anybody's really smarter than everybody. I think people have areas of expertise.
Yes. I was just about to say that.
But I don't think anybody's overly smarter than. And I was telling.
there's different.
There's different levels.
You could be book smart. You could be street smart.
Yeah.
You're different.
Or like I might be great at like cooking and smart at specific things, but not maybe about history. Everybody's smart. Nobody's dumb. We all have a brain. And I think people are better at other things than other people. Yes. But that doesn't mean you put somebody down because of a topic that they might know a little bit more about.
Right.
And I've experienced this a lot in my past. There is this level of like security that you have, like and insecurities. Like my sister's always like, oh, you're always dating guys that are, not up to par of what you should be dating, right? You should be dating specific men. She's saying I settle for less than I should, right?
Okay.
And that's not all guys. Like some of the guys that
But did she really know them though?
Yeah, I tell all the stories I tell. She meets most of my exes and stuff.
Okay.
And I know that can come off really, shallow and rude, but you always want to be with somebody who's going to better you.
Going to take you up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I was thinking about it, and I was like, I'm actually afraid to date somebody who's makes a lot more money than I do, like who makes, like millions of dollars or makes.
But why are you afraid?
Well, because men, I feel that I've dated that have a higher education, maybe Harvard grad or whatnot, and or are doctors or surgeons. They always have this ego about them that they think they're better than you because you're not at the same level.
I can see that.
So I always tell her, I'm like, I don't really want to be with somebody who makes a lot of money, which most people do, but then they treat you poorly.
Yeah.
And not everybody.
I was just about to say that. I think we can't generalize because I know not everybody who makes a lot of money are assholes that way. Mm-hmm. But I do agree that a lot of times it could be that way. You know, if it's a doctor and they're dating someone, maybe they do maybe tend to act like they are smarter than everyone. But
and I think it all comes down to respect, and that's why I kind of thought about doing this, with you. So it's kind of like I'm wondering, is everybody feeling this way? How do we? And it's not just women; it could be men too. Like a lot of times when I'm dating someone, I'm really condescending to a guy because he doesn't know something, and I'm like. Like I used to have an ex who used to like talk, like really smart guy, but he would talk so slow, and I'm like, speed it up. Like I don't want to like wait for the next word for the next 15 minutes. Like,
get the words
get that shit out of your mouth.
Spit it, boy.
Nice guy, but
so that's disrespectful.
I am disrespectful like that. I'm a bitch.
Say it louder. Could be a bitch.
But no. So I think there is a truth in some of it. How to get respect from a guy as a woman. Because I feel like a lot of guys do think that they're better than you sometimes. And sometimes we might be putting that out there because we're kind of shy or we're anti-confrontational. Yeah. I feel like a lot, even at work, I'll do whatever I can, but it'll still come off as like they need to help me. Somebody needs to help me with something, and I'm like, I can
Like
do
you're
it.
a damsel in distress.
Yeah, and I'm like, I got it. I know how to do it. I don't need your help.
Yeah, I mean, I know we're primarily starting off with getting respect from potentially a guy that you're dating, but also now you're talking about work. And I definitely have had some experiences where, and again, I'm not going to generalize it and say that I got this from all guys, but I've been to some meetings in a work environment, in my current place of employment, and also in past places of employment, where I'll be in a meeting and there'll be male colleagues and female colleagues, and I'll have a male colleague talking about something, and he just has this confidence about him. He's going to be talking about whatever the topic is, and he's got very good way of speaking. He's very confident about the words that are coming out of his mouth. But when I'm listening to him, I'm like, that's a lot of bullshit that's coming out of his mouth. It's really wrong. And in my head, I'm thinking to myself, no, that's wrong. But I don't want to say anything, right? But just the way he would speak and the way he just kind of commanded the meeting with how he spoke, he was so confident and everything. I could just kind of see the respect oozing out of everybody. And I'm looking at them like, what the hell is wrong with you guys? He's full of shit. He's not saying anything right. He thinks he knows it. He's super confident. And he's starting there. So anything else anybody else says, like if I were to say, can I correct you on a certain point? Everyone else would probably look at me and like, sorry, little girl.
There's definitely that mindset, like women are below men, and I feel like it's continuing to grow, go into the next generation and all that. But it's how do you stop it? Like, how can you obtain respect? And there are some women out there that are so good at it. Like they got their man wrapped around their fingers. They are they're just, people just respect them. And it could be the way they carry themselves. It could be their confidence. It could be like them not taking anybody's bullshit.
Right. I was just about to say that too, because I know your question was, how can we get past all of that? I don't think we could stop guys in the workplace or whatever relationships that you have. We're not going to be able to stop them from being disrespectful to you, right? We can't change a person. But I think the best thing we can do as women, and maybe this applies to people in general, but I'm just going to talk about women. We just need to realize, don't take their bullshit. Just be confident. Know that we know the right thing. And also maybe not be afraid of speaking up in a meeting, because I think that's what my problem was. I remember when I first went to college and I came from a school where it's a bunch of minorities, and then I'm going to a college where I'm the only like brown person. Yeah, I used to be afraid of speaking up. And I realized, you know what? If I just speak up and give my opinion, it doesn't matter if I'm wrong. Half the people in there that would say stuff, half the time they're wrong. And they didn't care. See, the difference between them and me is they actually had the confidence. They weren't afraid to say what was on their mind or to say what they thought. For me, I just wouldn't say anything, and I think that's a problem, because how can I ever earn respect in a sea of men in the corporate world if I'm never putting myself out there, if I'm never saying anything, if I'm not exuding confidence? I think we just have to find it within ourselves. We're not going to be able to stop people from disrespecting us, but we have to either just, number one, not take it and just have pride in ourselves and just be confident.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it can be tough too. I think a lot of the men think that they're smarter or better because of their own insecurities, not because of you.
That's a good point.
Because inside they're trying to be this confident, smart guy just to prove to you that they're the man. And in order for them to prove to you that they're the man and they got their shit together, they hurt you. Yeah, a lot of guys do, because of their own insecurity, because they don't know themselves. Am I smart enough for this girl, or am I good enough for this girl? So what they do is they overact like, oh, well, I'm smarter because I know this history thing, and I'm smarter because I know this word.
Or do you know it?
And I was like, yeah, I think it comes down from insecurities, self-respect for themselves. You have to have self-respect to give respect. And if you're not respecting yourself, and if you think you're better than somebody, then something's fundamentally wrong with you, because nobody's better than each other.
Exactly. Right? If you're not comfortable being with a woman, if you're scared that she's going to know more than you, then you got a problem.
And I think a lot of times, like, they'll catch you, like, say, like, you're having a conversation and you're like, oh yeah, I don't know what that means. Then they catch you, they're like, well, I know something more than you do. And then they sit on that and they're like, well, you didn't know this, X, Y, and Z, blah, blah, blah. You know, and you're like, okay, 1 out of 1,000 things I didn't know. That doesn't make you smarter than me or better than me in any way, right? But it's their own insecurity. And I think some of the things that you can do as a woman is communicate well. Squash their bullshit immediately in the beginning of a relationship. Like I had a situation where one of my friends, she's married.
Set the tone already, right?
Yeah, set the tone. Yeah, definitely. I had a friend who was married and her husband, you know, started on her with this whole like, I'm better than you business. And
Hey, are you better than me? Can you spit a baby out?
nope, definitely not.
There you go.
I mean, you're not spitting it, you're swatting it out, but whatever.
If I could shit mine out, I'd shit
Yeah.
hella babies.
It's disgusting. Nobody wants to hear that or see that.
Okay, I would respect your.
But yeah, so like in the beginning of the relationship, she's like, this is not gonna work.
Yeah.
And he's
I
like,
love
why?
that.
And she's
That's
like,
good.
because you already think that you're better than me. You think you're smarter than me just because you went to, you know, Yale.
Yeah.
I didn't. It doesn't make you better than
Book
me.
smart people
Yeah,
aren't necessarily.
And then after that, he started catching himself
Yeah.
in situations where he started thinking like, I'm better than you. And he'd be like, no, oh yeah, you're right. And then he started respecting her more because he started catching himself. So definitely communicating and squashing it immediately is key
That's
because
important.
you're setting a foundation. And if you set a foundation of it's okay, go ahead and treat me like shit,
He's gonna keep
treat
doing
me
it.
shit. And I know in the beginning it's really tough because when you like someone, you're like, I don't want to screw this up, so I'm not going to say anything. But that again hurts you. Like our previous podcasts, I talk about this. And if you don't communicate initially, it will eventually hurt you. And I think it's also tone. Like don't like bark at him like you're a D word and you treat me like poop.
This is a potty mouth podcast. What D word and poop? Just dick and shit. Hell
I
is
don't
wrong
want
with you?
to.
Just because we're talking
I'm
about
respecting myself.
you're respecting the podcast.
And I'm respecting the people on the podcast.
Not
So
me.
anyway, so you don't want to like, you know, scream and shout at them, but you want to
Yeah.
be like, look, this is not acceptable behavior.
Yeah.
This is not something I'm used to. And, you know, kind of have that tone and don't make him go on the defense, right? Make him go on
Just
the
let him
offense.
know. You just sharing it with him.
Yeah.
Like you said, don't bark at him, but just share with him. Look, this doesn't make me feel
Sometimes
good.
you just don't know you're doing it either. You don't catch yourself.
Yeah, I was thinking when you were saying sometimes like the guy maybe might not realize he's doing it, like your friend who's dating a guy who went to Yale. Maybe he's just not realizing it. Maybe he doesn't mean to do it.
Yeah.
But another thing I just thought about when you're talking is, aren't there some cases where women, they don't want to act like they're smarter than the guy. They want to dumb themselves down.
I
Have
do
you
that a
seen
lot.
that? Yeah, but why do women do that?
Um,
To try to get the man because they want to feel like
to
okay,
feel
this
some
man will
kind
take
of
care
like
of me.
equality, I think.
That's not equality though. When you're trying to dumb yourself down.
Maybe you're a man dumb, you need to move
Oh,
on.
maybe you meant a dummy.
No, I do. I do see that where you kind of
Right?
dumb you down yourself. Yeah.
You want to act like a
Because
damsel
you want
in
them to
distress.
feel comfortable. Women are always about making somebody feel comfortable. We're motherly type, right?
Yeah.
So we don't want to put anybody in a situation that's gonna make them feel bad or
Like, oh
feel.
my God, she's better than me, or she's not gonna need me.
Yeah.
I've heard that a lot of times
And-
before.
And a guy wants to feel like a man wants to feel like a man, right? And I'm not saying a guy is dumb. You might be more well-rounded. You might be more well-traveled, or you might have a different experience in life that he hasn't. And you shouldn't dumb it down. I think it should be an experience together.
Right.
But I think women who have done a lot more than a guy or who might be in a different situation, I think they do it to make the other person feel comfortable.
There's that fine line. I think if we're just talking about relationships, you could come from different backgrounds. You could be smart in different ways.
Yeah.
But I think you have to really understand that there has to be respect coming from the both of you. You can't just think, okay, well, I'm better than her because I went to Harvard. And as a woman, you can't be like, oh, you know what? I'm not going to tell him that I have a PhD because I want to feel. Yeah, you have to have this understanding that there's going to be a mutual respect for each other. If you guys like each other, you have to respect each other.
Well, okay.
If you want it to work.
I think it comes to insecurities again. If a guy who just has a bachelor's is dating a PhD and he doesn't know how to handle her being educated, then he needs to find somebody at his own level.
But why does it have to be that way, though? Why can't the guy just be like, if he really likes the
But
girl?
if he's secure with himself and is able to...
Okay, I hear you.
Yeah, if he has that insecurity.
That's the difference.
Yeah, if he's secure with himself and it's like, okay, well, I'm really well-rounded and I love her, and even though she's PhD and I'm a bachelor and I don't know as much or whatever, if he knows how to handle the situation in a mature, like secure manner,
Yeah.
it will work.
It'll be okay.
But if he has insecurities about himself and he also feels that he might be not smart enough, it's going to hurt their relationship in the long term. He's going to feel misplaced.
But you know what? You don't even think about that, when you're like back in the days of yore, when I was in the dating scene, I didn't even care. I was like, ooh, that guy's cute. Okay, come on.
Well, that's because you both went to dumb schools.
Bitch.
Dating is tough. We're animals when it comes to that, right?
I'm not an animal. Stop calling me an animal. You're not respecting me.
Dog.
Anyway.
Yeah, so the other thing is respecting women. I don't know if this is common or not. I don't know how women feel about this, but for me, I think it would be on the respect level, but like sleeping with somebody too soon, right? Because I think to build a rapport, to build respect, to respect yourself, giving away your flower to just any random people.
A flower for you, a flower for you, a flower
Like
for
the
you.
Bachelor.
Hey, once you give your flower, you no longer have a flower
You
to
still
give.
got petals. I think women expect like a guy to call and woo them, but now guys don't even respect them anymore because like I've been there, done that. I don't want to say I slept with you. We're done.
Okay.
I don't want to woo you.
You mean
anymore.
like once the female gives the flower, the guy's like, ooh, I don't need to woo her anymore. Okay.
Yeah, I have to get a perspective on how guys feel if a girl just puts it out. But
I'm sure. The podcast called "That's What He Said."
Yeah, so I mean, I think that's one thing
respect
too.
for yourself.
Respect for yourself. Dignity, respect. If you don't have it for yourself, and it's also not being bitchy. So I feel like a lot of women, they want respect. So they act like they're better in the relationship, like they know they're like a little bit of know-it-alls, and they put this front like I'm better than you because they want the guy to be like you are better than me.
Yeah.
It's fake.
So, okay, let's wrap this up. What are the key takeaways for respect? I know that's going to be hard for you because
Key takeaways for
you
respect.
don't respect me. I think one of the key things that we talked about was having confidence in yourself and not taking the bullshit from other people.
Communicate initially, like the first minute it happens, whether you're going to lose him or not, set the stage. You will not be disrespected. In my relationship, I've set the stage where a guy will never call me the B word because that is not okay with me.
Can I call you?
You can call me because you're one yourself.
Exactly.
But I feel like when a guy calls you the B word, it's a complete disrespect. Or any curse word, even if he calls you the F word or the C word or whatever he curses at you.
Yeah. Even in the heat of the moment, in the middle of a fight.
It's not okay. So when I start dating someone, I set that. You hang up on me, you call me the B word, you do X, Y, and Z, it's over. And it's worked. Guys don't call me the B word. Maybe in their mind, which
in
is
their
okay.
head.
Whatever. But
okay, so setting
setting
the expectations. What you're gonna take and what you're not gonna take.
Right.
What is a deal breaker?
Mm-hmm.
And
some guys usually know, like if they're more mature about it.
In general, right? You shouldn't be calling a girl a bitch.
So you have to set that up.
And then also, to get respect, you should give respect.
Yeah, don't call him the D word and expect him not to call you the B word.
Hey, you can't call me a bitch, dick.
Yeah. It can't be double standards. It has to be equal. And also, like, respect yourself.
Yeah.
If you don't respect yourself, he's not going to respect you.
No, he's not. And now, not in just the relationship situations, but even just anywhere. Just know that in some cases, you're not going to be able to change a person who's disrespecting you. You're either just going to walk away from it or just pick yourself up and take your little play toys and go to a different sandbox because you're not going to change everybody. But just respect yourself. Quickly,
I know we have a few more minutes left.
We have a few more minutes.
On the marriage side, now you're kind of stuck with this guy and he's not respecting you anymore. Yeah. What is your take on that? What do you do?
It's a work in progress. We talked about this in a prior podcast episode that marriage is hard work. So I can tell you right now, I've been called the B word. And again, I'm not saying all the time, but, it's just a really bad fight. I believe it is said in the heated passion. I know I could be a bitch a lot of times, but obviously I stayed. But it's a work in progress. We have to just keep talking because I have to understand, well, where did that come from? Why did you call me
this? Would you ask him, or do you say, I don't like the fact that you call me a bitch. That should never happen again. And I know you're doing it because you're upset, but it should never happen. Do you set the ground?
I don't go as far as setting the ground. I've never actually said, don't ever call me a bitch because I'm going to murder you. But I think we have, along those same lines, we have talked about where do I draw the line? Where does he draw the line? So we each know what our endpoints are as far as, okay, you can't do all this stuff. But it's a work in progress every single time, because the very next day or the very next week, he'll be doing the same thing, or he says, I do the same thing. So it's either, to your point, we each have a choice. We could each say, hey, look, you know what? You keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. So bye, Felicia, I'm out. But we both choose to still keep working on it. So I know we said you're married, you're like, you said your vows in front of the Lord Jesus, and you shouldn't just take divorce so lightly. You should try to stay in it to win it for marriage. But at the same time, you also have to know, well, when are you going to pull the trigger?
But is escape always the right tool?
Yeah, I don't think it's always the right tool, because sometimes you're going to escape, but you don't really work out the issue.
It's easy to be like, bye, Felicia, divorce, separate. But it's
If
always
there's no
easy
more
to
love.
say it, but it's not easy to do.
No, it's not.
Especially if you have family
It's
involved,
not.
like kids involved and
Yeah.
stuff. But if you're being disrespected in a 20, 30-year-old marriage, do you just kind of be like, okay, so this is how it's going to be?
No, you get
You
it.
can't get out. And you don't want to divorce because
No,
you
you
still
don't.
love him.
You either decide, I'm not going to take this. I can't take this anymore. You got to stop. This marriage is over. We're never going to be able to fix it. Okay? Mutually agree that we're never going to fix it. Or sometimes not mutually agree. You can leave. Or you just stay in it. You step into that ring and you go 12 rounds. Ding, ding. You keep going back and forth and back and forth. And you decide, like, you're either going to fix it and everything's going to be okay. Or you just keep battling out. You're either going to say, oh my God, we keep doing this over and over again. It's the definition of insanity. We have the same fight over and over again. Or you either keep working at it and say, we're going to fix it. I see a light at the end of the tunnel. We're going to fix it. Or you're just going to say, this is insane. We got to end things. Bye, Felicia. Divorce City. So it's hard. In marriage,
Like a lot of people don't want a divorce. They want to fix things.
The thing is, you have to keep that communication going. I don't care if it's a fight. Sometimes when you're talking about an issue like this, about respect, how you're going to treat each other, and you get to a point where you're yelling, you can't fight that way. You got to go away. You have to come back. Like, are you calm now? Can we talk normal? And then if you start fighting again, you walk away. Come back to it. So it's a question of you keep coming back because you love him. You want to work out your marriage, or you're either going to both decide, this is not worth it anymore. When you're in a marriage, it's really hard because some days I think, man, if I wasn't married, I'd be like, bye, Felicia.
Yeah, and it's easy when you're not married.
Yeah.
And if it's just a boyfriend or
Yeah.
whatever. But when you're married, it's actually harder, like you said, because after like a few years, you become more disrespectful to each other because you're just tired of each other, right?
Yeah.
I think when you're in the dating scene, you're still kind of walking on clouds a little, like, okay, I don't want to upset them. I don't want to hurt them. You're kind of pulled away a little bit.
Yeah.
But when you're married, you're like, anything goes.
Yeah.
Now I can call you whatever I want. I can fart in front of you if I want. I can poop in front of you.
We're not married. I fart in front of you.
You do. And I would wish you would stop.
I will respect you this episode, and I will not fart.
Unless you stand up. But I think the curtain drops once you get married and you become this like, I can do whatever the hell I want and say whatever the hell I want now that we're married. I don't think that's the mentality you should go. It should be the same as when you were dating. I think that's why like now people don't want to get married. It's that like invisible curtain that drops, right?
Yeah.
And then now it's like everything goes. Anything goes.
And I hope we're not painting the picture to our listeners or listener, if we have just one. I hope we're not painting the picture that marriage is just crazy and every couple that's married is unhappy. We're not saying that. I'm sure there's a bunch of happy couples.
Look at the Bushes. Barbara and Senior.
That is a bad example because
But they've been together for like 70 years and they still cherished each other. That is a love story that does not happen anymore.
I know, but Barbara died.
Oh yeah, but I mean, I would have loved to pick her brain
I
on how
know.
they made it last so long.
Greg Popovich's wife, the coach of the Spurs, he was married for 40 years and his wife just died.
See, well, my parents have been married 50 years, but that don't mean nothing.
Ain't no
There's
love
no respect there.
Again, I'm not trying to bash my own marriage. Marriage is hard work.
To get respect and to give respect, it has to be a constant communication.
And you have to keep talking, communicate and talk.
What about like taking sex away? Does that help?
Ew.
A lot of people do that when they're mad at each other. Like, I'm not going to do naughty things with you until you apologize.
I am Fort Knox.
What does that mean?
Fort Knox, like you're locked down.
You're locked in? No, why? You don't want to have no loving with you no more?
It's like so hard to get through Fort Knox. Like you can't pull down my panties. It's for.
Start
Not stand here.
walking around the house in lingerie and then take away.
But you know what?
Put the carrot there and then take the carrot away. Carrot.
On a serious note, though, I don't think that's cool. That's not cool.
I think some people
Girl,
do.
I'm glad I'm not a man that's about to marry you. Anyway,
I got a garden of flowers.
with that note, we should end respect. So yeah, I think we get the takeaways for this respect.
Yeah, just
So,
communicate, stand your ground. Don't give it up too fast. Like save your punani for later.
Save your flowers.
Yeah,
Make
save
it
your
a
flowers.
bouquet.
And yeah, I mean, just don't have insecurities. Be
Yeah.
confident in yourself.
Be confident.
We're all smart. We
Yeah.
all have our shit together. But you have to, just know yourself, respect yourself, and just know that what you stand for is the right thing, and then others will too.
Others
I
will
think.
follow.
And if they don't, bop Felicia their asses.
Or adios Felipa them,
Yeah.
right?
Don't put up with crap. We don't need
Yeah.
to anymore.
So viewers, listener out there, please contact us if you think we're crazy, if you think what we're saying is out of this world. Please respect us by giving us your feedback. And how about a rating? Seriously, though, just let us know what you think about the topic of respect. Are we just way off here? Or are we...
Or is there
speaking
other
the
ways
truth?
that we haven't talked about that you can
Exactly.
obtain respect?
Or
Get it.
I would like to call on our guy listeners because we talk a lot about,
On the girl's
we are two women that always give guy perspectives, and we could be
Girl
way
perspective.
off. No, we give
Oh,
our
we do.
perspective, but
On
we
the
also we talk on behalf of boys.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. We would love
Sometimes,
to
right?
hear from you guys.
Yes, we're gonna have a special guest. So if anybody wants to volunteer, if you're a male and you have a penis, please contact us because maybe you could be our very first.
And are okay with male bashing. Definitely.
Are we male bashing?
No, we're male bashing. I got respect.
RESPECT. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us this week. Please contact us. Our email is that'swhatwesaidpc@gmail.com. Information on our show notes. Thanks so much for listening. Rate us, review us, give us 5 stars, give us 1 star. Just give us something.
Don't give us any 1 stars because we're too good.
We're too good. All right. Thanks for joining.
Bye.
RESPECT.
I'm going to ask Kim Kardashian.
Dang, bitch.
R-E-S-P-C-T.
Find out what me to me.
R-E-S-P-C-T.
Take care, TCB.
Suck it to me, 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 suck it to me.